Well, the consultation period for the federal government's proposed business tax change is over, and many in the border city remain uncertain of the future. Josh Ryan has more on how significant these changes could be to small business owners in the area.
Eliminating tax loopholes for the 1% is the goal of the proposed changes from the federal government. However, professionals here and across the country say it does the opposite.
Every business has a different level of impact. Not all are impacted the same, but there is an impact on every size of business. It's not just the wealthy 1%.
There's been lots of things with our provincial budgets that have impacted small business and an already struggling economy that this could just put the nail in the coffin for a lot of people.
The three principles of the plan are to eliminate income sprinkling to family members, conversion of income in capital gains, and holding passive investments. However, Gossner says there are already roadblocks in place.
There's already rules in place for passive income so that it becomes indifferent if you earn in that type of income in a corporation versus personal.
Instead, he says the brunt of the changes would fall on small business owners, of which there are many in this region.
You're really taking away income from families that are for, fees for hockey, for groceries, things like that. That's probably the first big impact on the income sprinkling and where that impacts.
Financial advisor Garth Rosewell is telling his clients to examine their situation, but wait to make any changes before the revisions are announced.
Sounds like they're listening, and then when they come out with what they're actually going to propose, then that's when we'll be able to really analyze it.
However, if there isn't significant alterations to what's been put on the table, there would be a severe impact to this area.
Then we're going to have to look at some serious budgeting and possibly even lifestyle changes for people.
If we dissuade people from trying to grow their businesses and have generations, good succession plans and stuff like that happening, that's a concern.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Alberta native Apola Aquino is a boss lady in every sense of the word, a self-driven producer, director, and filmmaker with a passion for travel and adventure. Her newest series, A Woman's Guide to the World, is a documentary of her travels from Antarctica to New Zealand in hopes of inspiring women to be the subject of their own adventure story. And through all her success, her ties to Lloydminster keep her humble.
Good morning.
Apola has always had a passion for adventure travel, but found that the market was missing something: women.
I had this idea about solo adventure travel as a woman to these remote and potentially dangerous locations, and making it accessible for other women to go and do such a thing.
From there, A Woman's Guide to the World was born. Showcasing raw, unfiltered emotion, she documented her travels from aboard a ship sailing through Antarctica to a solo surf trip in the winter waters of New Zealand.
When I filmed it, my life was crumbling and my relationship was ending, and I had relocated to New Zealand to be with someone, and my sense of self was really scattered, and I was having a really challenging time.
Definitely in these moments I'm thinking, why on earth would I be doing this?
After she released the surf film free online, Air New Zealand saw the beauty in her project and licensed it. But like most artists, her success didn't come overnight.
Because basically I've been self-driven the whole time and very independent, and never really worked in a proper company. So it was up to me to really make sure that I was getting my projects funded, and sometimes that meant that I was broke.
Between passion projects, Apola comes back to Lloydminster to work with her father, not making movies, but working in the oil field.
I just realized that I have to have meaning in my work, and sometimes the price I pay for that is being broke, or having to come up to Lloydminster to sell oil field equipment.
Although the life of an artist comes with many uncertainties, it's a life choice Apola will never regret.
I know that being an artist is difficult. I've always known that. Everybody knows that. But I can't live any other way. I don't know how to do it. My whole self resists against it.
Michaela Henschel, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, after a heated 4-game exhibition schedule and 2 more games to open the 2017-2018 AJHL schedule, the Lloydminster Bobcats and Bonnyville Pontiacs renewed hostilities at the Civic Friday. It could be the most intense rivalry in the league, but as Lance Phillips shows us, it's a rivalry that didn't provide well for fans.
It didn't take long for the Pontiac scoring to begin, and once it started, it came a little too often for the Bobcats' liking. Garen Butler opened the scoring 2:51 into the first, a goal allowing Bonnyville to find the Bobcats' deficiency, and the Pontiacs used it to their advantage with 3 more first-period goals, leaving Lloydminster with an 8-1 win.
Right after that first goal, I saw them just kind of collapse. Their body language is down, and that's something that we try to avoid, so we knew we had to take advantage of that.
We talked about getting some secondary scoring away from our what we called the big 3, our 20-year-olds of Whistle, Brown, and Morocco, and we split a few of them up, and we got all 4 lines rolling. If anybody paid attention tonight, we rolled lines all night long, and that's our goal as a hockey team.
It's the second straight game where the Pontiacs have tallied at least 7 goals, an impressive feat given the 18-year-old average of Friday's roster. It's a circumstance Pontiac's coaches are familiar with, which allows players to make a tough transition easier.
When they make that jump from midget hockey into junior hockey, sometimes it takes a big adjustment, but I think they're starting to figure it out that you can't take any game lightly, and it's go time whenever you get into the rink. Our preparation has been much better these past 2 games, and I can attribute that, to everything. The vets are really taking the lead role.
Well, we're starting to stick with the plan. Our D-men are starting to move the puck up. That's what we've been kind of getting at for a little bit here. That was our problem earlier on in the year. Now that our offense is starting to kick in, you can see that in the last 2 games we have 15 goals. So I think if we just keep sticking with that, then we're going to be good.
But maybe the night's best performance came from the work done by Justin Travis between the pipes. The 18-year-old Red Deer native, playing in his 4th AJHL game, made 29 saves. Saves he credits to the work done in front of him.
I mean, they kept the shots from the outside, so I think they made my life easy tonight, so thanks to them, and it feels great. I mean, guys gave me good goal support all night long, and I mean, haven't had much games in the league, but definitely nice to get the first one on the way and just keep going from here.
Yeah, I think Justin really played very well tonight. We know he's a great goaltender, and he battled all night long. He was making hit saves with his head at all some points, and nothing but great things to say about Justin's performance tonight.
One notable absence from the Pontiacs lineup was head coach Rick Swan. Due to a clerical error surrounding newly acquired Mason Fisher, Swan was given a 1-game suspension by the AJHL, but maybe more importantly, the team's 7-2 win over Sherwood Park Tuesday was forfeited. But it may be a good omen if Fisher's Player of the Game honors Friday are indicative of the type of play the Pontiacs can expect over the remainder of the season. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.